That was a huge comeback for Liverpool in the Premier League title race. Going 1-0 down to Luton at Anfield was a huge shock. And Liverpool absolutely smashed Luton in the second half, let's be completely real. And it keeps their momentum in the Premier League as strong as it ever has been, except for maybe that Arsenal result, of course. Let's be real, Luton have been fantastic against Big Six opposition. They made life very, very difficult for Liverpool. So Liverpool had to find a change of gear. Liverpool had to find that extra bit of energy, momentum. They've got a squad that is completely hampered with injuries, completely needing a rest, completely needed rotation ahead of a huge cup final against Chelsea as well. Alisson being out, absolutely huge. They got the Quanzas of the world, Conor Bradley, Joe Gomez. The back four was makeshift, to put it lightly. But Liverpool still found a way, and that is, again, symptomatic of the Jurgen Klopp Liverpool that we know. And we have to discuss where it leaves them in the Premier League title race. We'll do that at the end of the video. But we're going to talk about all the goals and the big moments, key observations from the game. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Would really appreciate that. Let's just talk about the first goal. Obviously, Ogbene scores early in the game. Have to shout out someone like Ogbene, came from lower league football. I think signed from Rotherham. And sometimes players that don't come from fashionable football clubs get completely slept on. He's been fantastic for Luton this season. The goal that sprung about from a goalkeeping error. The last thing that Kelleher needs is a mistake early in the game at Anfield. He's under a lot of pressure because there is no alternative to him. It's easy coming in for a cup game when Alisson is in for the next game, for example. But in the Premier League, where he could be the keeper from now until the end of the season, potentially, based on my understanding of Alisson's injury, Kelleher gets beaten near post, essentially, with the rebound obviously going on to Ogbene's head. And you're looking for your keeper to do a little bit more there and not at least parry it back into a dangerous area. It is a hypercritical thing to say. I thought he was decent against Luton Town, but one mistake like that against bigger opposition at Wembley, for example, will cost Liverpool. So they're going to have to, they're going to have to hope that Kelleher can stand up and replace, the greatest keeper in the world's gloves. Let's put it that way. There were some observations in the first half for me. I think Harvey Elliott had a fantastic game. Obviously, he scored the final goal of the game. But he had a great first half, great second half, dominating the ball, controlling midfield. I know he's sort of playing on the wing, but tucked in. I think I could definitely see him being a little bit like that Bernardo Silva role for Man City, maybe, or even someone like Saka that drops deep for Arsenal. That kind of right wing, inside forward that comes in, tucks things in, controls possession and can kind of create from deep. I think he has a fantastic opportunity to be that kind of player for Liverpool moving forward. Obviously, he's going to have to displace Salah, but in the long term, if Salah leaves, Harvey Elliott might have a different role. I think it massively depends on who the manager is. If someone like Xabi Alonso comes through the door, then Harvey Elliott will be a huge weapon in their arsenal. At the moment, he probably hasn't been used as much as he would have liked for someone as talented as Harvey Elliott, probably just down to the fact that obviously he had an injury and also the fact that it's hard to fit him in the side, really, because I think he's more of a technical player. He's more of a forward-thinking player, and you can't always put him in that Liverpool midfield because of the Hendersons, the Fabinhos of the world last couple of years. But it was big for Harvey Elliott because I think it's his 100th appearance in the game, and it was a huge goal as well. We'll talk about that in a minute. Virgil van Dijk with a commanding header to get Liverpool back in the game. How many times has he done that in his Liverpool career? And to do it kind of so early in the second half as well, it gave Liverpool a lot of momentum. Again, 1-0 down in the Premier League at half-time for a side like Liverpool. It's never easy. I don't care whether they're at Anfield or Kenilworth Road. Luton Town have been a fantastic, organised and disciplined side this season. And they were just outdone by a moment of quality from Virgil van Dijk. It was a beautiful ball in as well. Cody Gakpo scores. He's on a little bit of form at the moment, and I think he's got a couple in the last 3 appearances. He is someone that should be aiming for 15, 20 in all competitions. I think he's that good. It was a great little reflex kind of shot from him as well. And I think Cody Gakpo is one of those players where you think he should be scoring more goals and contributing more. And that's not to belittle him or befault what he's been doing at Liverpool. He's been a bit of a squad player so far, but now is a huge opportunity. I think this game against Luton Town was a massive opportunity for some fringe players to really lay a case to be starting the League Cup finals of the world, to be starting those huge Premier League title clashes later on in the season, had the burden of responsibility on them. And Cody Gakpo was brought in to do that. Harvey Elliott was brought in to progress into that kind of role. Whether it's a little bit too early for Harvey Elliott is a different debate, but Cody Gakpo, he has to be stepping up and scoring the goals that Jota would have. And Jota would have scored that, and Cody Gakpo did in the game. And that is basically game over. Luton didn't really have a reply in the second half. It's the same way they did in the first. And that's Luton's story this season. They are a side, pound for pound, as good as anyone in the league. But then you look at the pounds in that side, and there aren't many, with all due respect. So the second half of these games against Big Six opposition, they were fantastic against Man City, fantastic against Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool at Kenilworth Road. And they just run out of steam. They run out of the ability to change the game in the second half. But not many sides can do that at Anfield, let alone Luton Town. So you have to say, I always want to be massively complimentary of Luton Town, because I think they always put their best going forward, and I think they apply themselves in the right way. So it's no fault of their own that they conceded 4 at Anfield, because most sides do when Liverpool are firing like this. Luis Diaz scores a big goal, and he's another player as well. It's strange with Liverpool. There's so many players. It's almost like the front three is like a jack of all trades, master of none, except Mohamed Salah. And the Diazes of the world, the Nunes of the world, Gakpo and Jota all come in and out of the side. And you all look at them individually as players, and you think they're world class on their day. But they get shifted and changed, and their form goes up and down because of the rotation, because Jurgen Klopp is fighting on so many fronts, and that's what he demands out of his side. So to see, it's a bit similar to my criticism of Gakpo. Maybe I want to see more from Diaz in terms of goals. I think you want to be looking at a bigger goal tally at the end of the season than he's delivered previously. Obviously, he's still coming back from injury from last season, but he looks absolutely sharp in this game, and he was a threat all day. And I don't know how... Menji and Ogbene were ever going to defend against him, because he was absolutely ruthless in the game. And it was a big opportunity, and he was fantastic in the League Cup final against Chelsea a couple of years ago, which is crazy. I think Lukaku played in that game as well. And Diaz came in. I think was it his first start in the League Cup final? It might have been for Liverpool. So again, the Cup final will be on the horizon for a lot of these players. Putting themselves in the shop window to make sure that they're starting the game is huge. And also, I'll be covering it on the channel. So subscribe if you haven't already for content around that game. And then, as I say, Harvey Elliott with a beautiful finish on his left foot to wrap up the game. And all in all, it was a very, very good performance for Liverpool in the second half. I think the first, they're always going to be a little bit, I think, slower from now on until the end of the season, because of the amount of games they've played already this season, because of the rotation of the squad, because of key injuries. But it's weird. I think if Arsenal or Man City faced the injuries that Liverpool did, I think Arsenal and City would drop off far quicker. I really do. And I think that Liverpool, the one side in world football where Jurgen Klopp kind of is a magician for just getting performances, just getting results out of nowhere. It's very reminiscent of Alex Ferguson when he had that kind of belated, kind of older squad in 2013 when he's still in the league with an old Paul Scholes and Giggs and people like that, for example. Maybe not Giggs, old Rio Ferdinand. And I think Jurgen Klopp's a little bit similar with a different approach. He's got a young side. He's trying to get a tune out of Harvey Elliott, a tune out of Cody Gakpo before he departs. And I think he's done that very, very well. Liverpool sit obviously top of the Premier League table. Seeing a wobble from Arsenal in the Champions League would have been great. Seeing City not struggle against Brentford, but miss some big opportunities. There are small glimmers of hope for Liverpool in the Premier League title race, and they can only do what they can do is win their games. At the moment, they're winning their games, and the Premier League title race is in Liverpool's hands as it stands. Let's be completely real. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Would really, really appreciate that, and I'll see you very, very soon.